darlings, and welcome back to my channel. We are doing a video today that is inspired by another YouTuber. You may know her. She has the best accent in the world, and this is coming from someone who does not have an accent. Her name is Kelly Martin. She is a writer and fellow YouTuber. This is not weird. This is not weird at all. I will speak into this cone, and this cone shall be my microphone. Yes! Yes! You can look mad all you want, but the cone stays on until the ear is healed. Yes. Okay. At the end of last week, I believe it was Thursday, Kelly started teasing that she was going to post her January writing wrap-up, and I was like, that is such a great idea. Because especially with the fact that I'm doing my 52 and 52 this year, where I'm writing a short story every single week, based off of the Ray Bradbury quote that it's impossible to write 52 short stories that are bad in a row. I mean, he said it better, but that's the gist of it. So what better way to kind of keep you in the loop and also kind of weigh last year's challenge by writing 1,000 words every day to this year's challenge of just writing a short story every week, and how the numbers might play out. Because I feel like writing a short story every week, which I'm also still working on other stuff too, is going to be more accurate as to how much I write a year, and give you kind of an idea of about how much I write a day. First off, let's get out of the way. My word count for this month was just over 15,000. It was almost at 16,000. It was 15,933. I remember that. So, obviously, that is like half of the month. If you break it down, I wrote approximately 500 words a day. And personally, if you're managing to write 500 words a day, that's a great start for me. I'm never gonna knock anybody down for writing 500 words a day. That's a great start, especially if you also have a life, or children, or elderly parents, or an actual job that requires like 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. You know, 500 words a day is amazing. So I'm proud of myself. Now, last year, I would have to go back and look at my write-a-meter. I think last year I was not too much further ahead than what I am now. I think I might have been at least 20,000 words in by the end of January. Well, I'm not sure, because I remember putting on Instagram that I was off to a slow start, and I think I got behind in January. Did not start off on the best foot, I guess. So, the word goal doesn't really matter to me this year. It's just sort of my own way of seeing actually how much I write. As for what I wrote 4 short stories. I did. Okay, and I started on the 5th because I think January started on a Wednesday, but, you know, to make it a week to a week, Sunday to Sunday. So I've managed to write 4 short stories in January. I finished the 5th short story February 1st, so it doesn't count. So I managed to finish 4, which is on schedule. Perfect. I didn't really like any of them that I wrote. That's just part of the game. I also worked on 2 different novels that I have going at the moment, though I didn't work as much on them as I would particularly like, because just little insight into me as a writer. I love writing novels. I love having that room to expand and to grow and to go into places that maybe the story doesn't even need, but I like having that room. And when I write a novel, I typically write one novel at a time. I spend all of my time on it. Usually about, depending on the size of the novel usually takes me maybe 2 months to finish, sometimes 3 if it's like a bigger novel or something happens. So in December I decided to start working on one novel that's called We Live Inside the Walls, and then halfway through writing, well, not halfway through the book, but like maybe a quarter of the way through what this book will be, I had another idea that's called It Approaches Slowly. And it was very different than anything I've written before, so I also started working on it. So I have both of these novels that I'm juggling right now, and I am planning on February putting most of my time into the first one, We Live Inside the Walls, and trying to finish it in February. But out of all of this, the first thing that comes first is the short stories. I want to make sure that I have a short story finished every single week, and that's all that matters. So the 4 short stories I finished, the first one was called Three Little Devils. The second one was called... What was the second one I don't know what the second one was. The second one I wrote is called Don't Scream, You'll Wake the Dead. The third one is called Skin. And the last short story that I wrote for January was called Barking Dogs Don't Bite, but I'm thinking of changing the title to The Bestest Boy. So, you heard it here first. If you happen to see any of these stories in an anthology or a magazine or somewhere this year or next year, you know when I wrote them now. So basically, I think I did pretty good. I didn't do a single ounce of editing in January, but I am going to spend most of February and probably March editing my next book that will be published very soon. I might do a title reveal at the end of February, depending on how far along the story is in editing, because it needs a lot of work. That was rude. That was just rude. Why would you do that? Why would you just leap from my arms like that? And then ignore me. Okay. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening to me drone on about things that likely don't matter to you at all, because you don't know what these things are that I'm working on at all. But this is what I did this month. This is the progress I made. And my goals for February, is putting it here so that I can check in February. My goals for February are to write, I believe there will be 4 more short stories. I have to check the dates. As long as they're finished by this Sunday. Okay? So I plan to write 4 more short stories, depending on what the week's cycle is. I am planning on working on the novel, We Live Inside the Walls, and I'm also planning on editing 2 particular short stories of mine for anthologies that I have been invited to submit to, because I'm fancy. And I'm planning on editing a novel to be published this year. So, I guess that's all I've got for you guys today. My books and my social media are all linked in the description box down below. Make sure that you like this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Although I have no idea why I'm supposed to be telling you guys this. I don't know if that actually helps me or not. But everyone else says to give me a thumbs up, so give me a thumbs up. Or you know what? Why don't you just give me a thumbs down? I mean, it's your button. Just pick whichever one you like. Okay? But do make sure that you hit the subscribe button, because that button actually does help me. And that's it. That's all. Here's to February. Kisses, my darlings. Ooh, it's a thumb.